And that's, I mean, we all know Ron is on his way out. I mean,
Right,
there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. His
right.
tenure is done. We pay respects to the man for what he has done as far as beating cancer and kind of trying to right the ship amid all the Dan Snyder stuff. But at the end of the day, this is a business where you need to produce. And if you don't, then that means not for long, which is what the NFL stands for. So, Will, I'm going to come to you because we know we're moving on. We know we're heading in another direction. Who are some of the head coach candidates that intrigue you and why?
Yeah. So I think I want to go offense. And for two things. One of the things is if you draft a quarterback and you have an offensive head coach, you're going to keep the same system in place. Whereas if we went, some of the defensive coaches that are out there as candidates are a little bit more established. You're Brian Flores. You're talking about the dude from the Ravens, McDonald. But if they have success, that offensive coordinator is likely going to leave to go someplace and be someone else's head coach. And now you're having to find another offensive coordinator. And every 2 years, that cycle could be continuing. Whereas if you have an offensive coach, that system is in place. If you draft a quarterback, which if we're picking in the top 5, we have a great opportunity to. So that young quarterback has a chance to stay in the same system regardless of who his actual play caller is. So I'm leaning towards going offensive. And right now, Ben Johnson from Detroit is the hot name.
Yes, sir. Right there. Yes, sir.
So he's the hot name. I really I'm really intrigued by Bobby Slowick out of Houston with what he's doing with CJ Stroud. I'm hearing he's a little bit, green. He may not be quite there. There's 2 other guys that one is young, one is older that I'm kind of interested in on offense. One is Wes Phillips in Minnesota. He's the son of Wade Phillips. He was actually a former Redskins coach. He was one of our tight end coaches, and he's working with Kevin O'Connell, who is a very, very bright mind. So I like where he's been. He's been under Sean McVay. He's been under Kevin O'Connell. So I like that tree. But then there's an older guy who would not really excite people, but I think he actually may be better than what we think about. Jim Caldwell out of San Francisco. He had some success in Detroit. He's been under San Francisco. He's been learning from Kyle Shanahan's way. He already was a good offensive mind. Remember, this is the guy who was with Indianapolis Colts as well and had success, where he may bring in just, I don't want to say father figure, but like kind of I'm hearing with the owners, they may not want to go super, super young. They may want to have someone who has done this before. And so if you're going to have someone who's done this before, Caldwell's been a head coach. He can be that steadying presence, understanding that it's not just X's and O's, working with the guys. So he may be someone that I'd be intrigued by. Defensively, I'm worried about his lawsuit with the league, but I'm really impressed with what Brian Flores has done in Minnesota. About halfway through this season, he turned around that defense in Minnesota. And I feel like we've got some players on defense, plus with our capital in place to kind of fix that maybe quicker. But again, I think I'm trending towards going offense. And so, yeah, I've named some three young guys, and then Caldwell would be my established veteran coach.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I like that. I see what you're doing with that one. So all right, I think Ab's out. Ab, what are your thoughts, man? What direction do you think you would go in and look for the head coach?
Okay, so to me, I head coach Sean, I actually thought we were going to go GM first. So my GM, to me, the focus would be getting the GM first and then going head coach. So I think we did it all wrong when we hired Ron and then got the GM next. I think that's ass backwards. So that means Ron is essentially the boss of the GM, and that's not even right to me.
That's right.
I don't even like how that sounds. So because that means the GM can't be objective and be like, yo, Ron, you got these 2 whack ass players last year on offensive line, and you really think you're about to be on some business on offense this year, and things are going to be different now?
Right.
Nah, it's not even right. And so to me, head coach, head coach, I'm going Young. I think Young is the way to go. I think this is the new NFL. To me, I really, really like. I don't want to see anybody old. I really like. It's a new league, and like we need to be evolving. And to me, I think we've always been stuck in something old, and it's just it's not. And it's just not working. It really isn't. Right. Like everybody that we get is like 50s, 60s, 70s, and it's not like so. Head coach, I'm going Ben Johnson, Detroit. And honestly, I understand what you were saying, Will, about the league thing, the lawsuit. But I really do like Brian Flores, man. I think he got a raw deal in Miami. Like to me, like I find it I hate it when, and I'm not trying to play the race card here, but like with Jim Caldwell too, he got fired after a winning season. Like, what is that? like what is that? In Detroit, you know what I'm saying? You had a winning season and you get fired like that. It makes no damn sense because you missed the playoffs. He missed the playoffs that year, right? Yeah. So, I think so. Yeah, and that doesn't make sense. And that doesn't make sense to me. Jim Caldwell, I liked him as a coach. He's almost like a player's coach. From what I remember, and like they loved him there. Right. But Brian Flores, like honestly, if he can get around that, like I really think that he's going to be He's going to be Colin Kaepernick. Like I really do. It really is. So, but honestly, I like to see him here. I said this before. I said this like last year, guys. But Kellen Moore is a genius, and I love what he did in Dallas. I think we talked about it. I said I'd rather have him than EB. I want to say, but Kellen Moore is definitely up there. Definitely up there. But no, if I had to pick, it would be probably Ben Johnson.
Sure. Oh yeah. That seems to be a consensus. Most people seem to be going in that direction for not only the intelligence but also the age. He's young, up and coming. Alex, what do you think?
Well, I think our next head coach should be Eric Bieniemy. No, I'm just like, I'm just like how these guys said it, man. I want to go young. Ben Johnson. I made a podcast about that, about the coaches we should get. But yeah, absolutely. I think Ben Johnson was my favorite. But starting with GM, do y'all remember when we had our scout guy when Jay Gruden was here, Kyle Smith?
Yes.
I would love to have Kyle Smith as the GM. Right. He's young, he's talented. One of my friends that I'm talking to here on a daily or whatever on the phone, man, I'm a big Washington fan also. He's a big fan of Kyle Smith too, and he was telling me about that. And I was like, yeah, I forgot all about him, man. But yeah, I mean, he was a scout, a scout guru. You know what I mean? He knew what he was doing, and Ron just threw him out the building. You know what I'm saying? But I would love for him to be the GM, but I really don't know too much about the GM situation. But when it comes to coaches, definitely go young. I would definitely want an offensive coach. It's not about defense no more. I hate to say it. I'm a defensive guy myself. Defense wins championships, but it's not about the defensive coach anymore that much no more, man. I mean, if you look at DNs, they can't even hit quarterbacks like that no more without being a flag. It's an offense. It's all about the offense, all about protecting your quarterback. And I mean, it's all about, I hate to say this, because I mean, back then it used to be all about, loyalty and just trust and winning rings and all that stuff. But it ain't about that no more. It's about money, and people want to see money. You know what I'm saying? People want to see the offense move it down the field. People want to see touchdowns more than defensive sacks and stuff. So, but yeah, Ben Johnson is definitely my number one. He's young. He's definitely talented. I mean, where the Lions have been for the last few years were terrible. Ben Johnson comes in there and just makes him one of the best offenses in the game. You know what I'm saying? There's rumors talking about trading for Mike Tomlin. I don't know about that one. I don't get me wrong. I would take anything over Ron right now. So if it was Mike Tomlin, I would be happy. A lot of players love Mike Tomlin. There was even rumors saying that we might even get Bill Belichick. I would take Bill Belichick over Ron. I would. He's a scheme guy. I mean, obviously, I do think that Tom Brady made Bill Belichick, but we do have so much in free agent, free cap space for free agency.
Right.
Bill Belichick, man, y'all remember a few years back when he grabbed everybody wanted to play the Patriot way. You know what I'm saying? So, but these guys, you would have to trade for them. But going back to Eric Bieniemy, I did want Eric Bieniemy at the beginning to be our head coach. I still think Eric Bieniemy can lead a team to be somewhat good. There is the Bears talking about they might get him. I mean, he is that hard-nosed coach, and a lot of players respect him. You know, y'all remember when a lot of our players went to Ron and was like, "Hey, man, I don't like how Eric Bieniemy is, teaching." Man, it's like, dog, y'all make millions. Shut your mouth up, and you know what I'm saying. Y'all can't. Y'all mad getting yelled at? Like, come on, man. I don't know. I don't know what Ron created in that building, but it's a lot of soft shit going on. I'm sorry, excuse my language. There's a lot of soft stuff going on. My bad. I didn't mean to cuss, but y'all know what I mean.
No, you said it. Like, I was about to say it too. I was like, soft in the ass for real.
Yeah, bro. Like,
I am so like blown away how man, he yelling at us.
Right.
What?
Yeah, man.
He's running long practices, 2-hour practices.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. And I'm just like, man, I don't know what's going on in that building. But like I was telling some other people that, if you go to a job and your boss is laid back, usually all the employees are going to be laid back. You know what I'm saying? But if your boss is, on your butt, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be, ready to do whatever. You know what I'm saying? I want players to go to war with, man. And these players, man, they ain't going to war with Ron. I'm not saying they don't respect him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a respectable, great, good coach, likable guy and all. But the players just lost him, man. He ain't the same no more. But yeah, absolutely. Ben Johnson, I would love to go his route.
The best thing so we had consensus on who was our top pick, which there's also a lot of stuff coming out right now that says, Alex, you just said it, where Washington is now a premier destination. There's no Dan Snyder. You're going to be able to bring in a new general manager. You've got cap room. You've got draft picks, where if you look back at our coaches these last 15 years, maybe even 20 years, we plucked Joe Gibbs out of retirement from NASCAR. We had to promote Jim Zorn because they wanted to hire Jim Fossil and fans revolted. So they hired the offensive coordinator. We plucked Mike Shanahan out of retirement. Jay Gruden was not everyone's first choice, but we needed a coach. And then Ron Rivera, you just said it, Ab, we had to give him all the power in order to get him to come here. For the first time ever, since Spurrier, Dan Snyder, our team has a chance to pick our coach, not take somebody, but really decide. Like, we are the location that the youngest or the brightest coaches are now looking at and saying, "Hey, Washington looks like an ideal local spot." General managers, are saying, I could go there and do well. Like, we have the chance to be what Philly is right now, what Baltimore is, what San Francisco, these shining organizations. Finally, after, and it started with Dan leaving, it's like, I mean, that's really exciting about this offseason is it's not no more who can we get to take this job. It's who wants this job.
Well, going. My bad. I know you about to talk, Sean, but I was about to say, what Will was saying, Dan is that's the difference between Josh Harris and Dan. Josh Harris is a businessman. You know what I'm saying? He knows who to grab, what to do, what GM. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's an owner for Philly and a hockey team. Dan was a fan of Washington. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? He wasn't really all that. You know what I'm saying? He had to help. Hey, I need help to do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? So all this stuff that we have, I'm kind of excited. Just like y'all, I'm kind of excited this year. All this stuff that we have is Dan's stuff with Ron and all this, it's all this garbage that is about to go. You know what I'm saying? And I feel bad for Sam, but literally Sam might not be here, y'all. You know what I'm saying? A lot of players are not going to be here. You know what I'm saying? And Ron and all of it, everything is going to be washed away and we starting over. I didn't think we were this deep into a rebuild, but we are. We're really in a rebuild. This ownership, that's a lot of people were upset about Josh Harris. Why y'all not getting rid of Ron? This and that, man, because he's waiting to see how it all goes, and he knows he's going to throw it all away and put all. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited.
Yep. Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is.